All right, good morning and welcome to the show. This is the Weekly Jargon. I am Jose Rodriguez.
And this is Rohi Zachariah.
I stuttered there for a minute. I am Jose Rodriguez. I don't know what it is. Maybe.
Are you a robot?
Am I really? Okay, that's right. And we'll segue to that. Am I a robot? So, Roy, why don't you take it away and tell us what's going on this week? What exciting news do we have this week?
Oh, it's exciting news. Flash in the ring there, four-time.
Let me see that ring. Show it one more time with the camera.
Boom.
There you go. See?
That's the older one. We got to wait for the new one, but excited for the four-time world champion robotics.
Four-time. I mean, how is that possible? Especially when it comes to like four times. That's crazy to think that we can go four times that world championship, right? And we're talking. This is world, right? So I mean, I just want to emphasize that this is not just a local California or even the U.S. We're talking world champions. And somewhere in there, I mean, this is a picture that I brought up here, and obviously it shows the Madera Unified at the center. But to win this title four times, I mean, that really speaks volumes. Not only when they won it the first time, the second time, the three-peat, but now four times. I mean, this is becoming almost a casual thing now. It's. I mean, you definitely want to celebrate the excitement behind the fourth world title. But it just seems like we dominate this robotics.
Yeah, and it's true, and it's you know, and I like the correction because I know I hear a lot of people will say, "Oh, the nationals." Excuse me, we were against China, Turkey, Israel, every major country, Mexico. This is no nationals. This is every country. On the map is there competing, and we beat them. So it's not nationals.
It's not nationals, and you can't say little bitty Madera anymore because now it's world arena. You're known in the world now as robotic champs, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of is in my role as far as early on 2012 when I came in as a mentor and really kind of taking on a little bit more of the programming side because that's my background. And transition today, I would say more in the advocacy role, for the team is little things like that, like getting the community to understand what that means when you say world champions and what it means to say four-time world champions, and understanding where Madera sits on the world scale when it comes to this kind of competition. That when you go to these competitions. It's on a different level, when they know you're from Madtown, like when they know you're from Madera, like, oh, well, you're those guys,
Yeah, it wasn't maybe the first time they won. I had a doctor, he had taken his daughter over to a music, I think it was a music class, and I had taken my son and my daughter to see about piano. See, they wanted to learn piano, and this was in Clovis. And the funny thing is, when I told him that I was from Madera, all he could talk about is, oh, yeah, they have the greatest robotics team out there. And I go, yep. And this was just the first time.
Yeah.
So you could imagine now that you have all these schools up in that area in Clovis and Fresno. Maybe they concentrate in sports a lot more. But when it comes to robotics here, you can't say, hey, Madera is not known for what, especially for robotics. And like you said, it's not national. It's a world title.
Yeah.
And the picture there that I showed you is because that's the world's #1 robotic team is in Madera.
Yeah.
The heart of California, the gateway to Yosemite. I mean, we can add all these.
Sell it.
Come on, you're missing out. You're missing out. If I have to show you a map, I mean, we're located right down smack middle of California.
Yeah.
And yet we are the
we're the center of the world right now.
That's right. We're the center of the world. And I just want to make sure, and you give kudos to a lot of these kids that participated. And not only them, the advisors, such as yourself, Rohi, and RC, and everyone that has pretty much laid the foundation for these folks to earn this title. And to be able, just the privilege and the honor to be part of this engineering robotics team, right? A lot of these kids are... they choose that pathway because they want to ultimately get to that that stage in the world title, right, stage that everybody wants to see. So tell me, Rohi, the making of this. I mean, I think people don't understand when this started, but there's history behind this. kind of lay it out for us so that people understand that this wasn't something that happened overnight. This is something that's been, the foundation has been laid for years to come.
Yeah, and I think that's what's key is, again, being fortunate enough to be along the journey with the team. I would say is pretty early on, but obviously they started before I got there. Was the heart of it was, for one, a dedication from the mentors, which at that time it was literally me and RC, because he had just gotten out of high school, and I I was obviously a little older, but we were it. Everybody else was kids. But to see at the heart of it, as every year matured, we would get a certain amount of kids that would come back because they loved the sport, they loved the team, they wanted to see it grow, and that's what that attrition. Every year, that's what every team would always kind of, I would say, lose when you talk about what are people doing wrong, is the attrition of knowledge and everything that goes into that, the sport aspect of it, and and it's seeing, again, I remember coming on, and these kids are not like come in for an hour or two. Like, we would be there till midnight. I mean, the school kind of had to put down some rules in place, because they were like these kids, that's all they want to do, is they just want to build robots, and not just build them for fun. Like, they want to compete and they want to be the best. And that's kind of what got me hooked, and why I put as much time as I did to help the team. And again, every year you would see, we'd get a little further, and what I mean, like, it was just, it was inevitable. And then I remember 2018, when we didn't win, and you could tell, like, it was just like everybody was just so mad, because like, we knew it, we knew we were the best. And to come back in 2019 for the first win, and the excitement and the energy that it brought, and it kind of just it gave everybody involved a sense of, like, understanding, like, yeah, this is who we know we are, and we know we can do this. And then to come back again the next time around and show it again, it really just gave that, like, momentum of, like, okay, this is where we're going to be. So the recognition is kind of gone, and I hate to go backwards, because on the world scale, we were always known. Our team was always known as a dominant team, and then it took 2019 to realize, for Madera to realize, like, oh, hey, we got this team sitting in our backyard that, like, is actually world renowned and recognized, and I think that's where, if you say from 2019 to today, it's amazing how much of the general community, like, we see people wearing our shirts, and I'm like, I know you're not part of robotics, but you're excited to wear our team shirt, to be happy for the team. And that's what I think is really, really exciting when you talk about the community growth around the team as well.
Yeah, no, and I do see that symbol of Madtown Robotics.
Yeah.
And it does stand out. And
hopefully on the water tower one day.
Oh, one day.
Saying,
Hopefully. I mean, shoot, you can't. I mean, this is a dynasty now, Rohit. And you have to look at it that way, is that you're known on the world stage as, the center for robotics. And, granted, years back when I was on the school board, I remember that, this big push for career tech.
Correct, yeah.
And
Yeah.
with career tech came, like, hey, let's get something going with robotics, right? And I remember the early stages of it just developing and coming out, and then come to find out that these kids were already competing at the world stage, maybe falling a little short, but like you said, perfecting that craft and perfecting that, just their systems.
Yeah.
And 2019, setting the stage on fire and saying, we got this.
Exactly.
And not only that, within the last 7 years, Rohi, 4 world titles.
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks volumes. And I think we need to celebrate that more. We can't let this just fall and say it's just another world
fluke.
title. It's not a fluke.
Yeah.
This is something that's happening, and I think we can build on that. And I think Madera Unified has built that we believe. Well, here's the center of it. We do believe, because typically you would think that the world robotics / engineers are coming from Germany, China, and yet you look at the makeup and the demographics of these kids, and it's all walks of life, all different, nobody wants to use ethnicity involved in here, but it's telling you that people that work together, it's not about a single, demographic or anything. It can be women, girls, boys.
Yeah.
All walks of life come together here at Madera Unified and be able to put a team like this and be able to take center stage in the world championships. I mean,
Yeah.
that speaks volumes. So
And that's kind of and that's key because coming into this when I did, you know, one of the teams that was basically the team of the time was the NASA team, and and I remember they were kind of like every year it was just expected they would win because here was the team with all the money. It came from it was part of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and so you have kind of the best of the best, and obviously even at the mentor level, you're getting some of these guys that, are now working for like Lockheed and some of these huge, agencies. So you would kind of expect them to win. And I remember, as we were coming up, I think it was like in 2015, that was the first year where all of a sudden you'd see the shift. Like we were beating them, you know what I mean? And that was what I think was kind of like the switching point for people to realize, like you said earlier, it's not about having to be like, oh, we're the richest people and we got all this money. It's like, no, it's who's going to put the most work in and who's going to want to win. And you got to have some of that heart. And, and that's, I think, what's key for some of these kids, especially in the Madera area, to know is that it adds even more so. It's to say, look who we are. I mean, like, we don't come from the richest society. You're like, right. You know what I mean? We don't have, like I said, like a NASA facility that's, feeding. This is homegrown. This is people that are coming just like you. They just put a little bit of work into it and learn their skills. And, now they're applying them and kind of making a difference for Madera.
Yeah, and I think you said it best. It's not driven by money. It's driven by, the tenacity of wanting to be the world's number one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And that again is another example of what, the willingness and determination, dedication, that no matter how much money you throw at it, you can never beat out that internal tenacity in that person or that team, and especially when you lay out a foundation that continues to build and will always have that going for them, right? And that's something that you can't buy, right? And that's the one thing that I want to make sure that we showcase here, because Madera has done it not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times.
4 times.
Rohi, you have a video there that you'd like to play for us, and let's go ahead and look at that. Kind of what's involved in this, and why. Kind of run through it and tell us, what is it about precision? What is it about this engineering? What is it about robotics that makes it so exciting that these kids have perfected to become a 4-time world champions?
Yeah. So I'll and since you got the video up, I'll kind of give you an idea. So this is the match 3, and just to kind of give you an idea what you're looking at right now. So we're from the division of Dali. So what that means is there's 8 divisions in this competition, and 75 teams in each division. And what the first thing to understand is that for this is the 4th day of competition, they didn't just beat a certain amount of people, right? They won their divisions, so they were the top out of 75 teams. And then now we're on the final stage where each winner of each division is coming together. The important part to understand is the team we're going against on Newton. They're the team that beat us back in 2024. And this is if you want to have a rival of any kind, this is it, right? So we beat them, they beat us, we came back and beat them again, and now we're back in the finals. And what's why this was kind of I don't know, I guess big or heartbreaking is, so it's a best of 3, so it's a double elimination, and the team has come out of essentially a flawless we won. I think we had just based on schedule.
You swept all the other teams.
We swept them.
Yes.
Like we set a world high score. It was, I think, over 900 points. So this is, we've already established we've got this, right? And the first match that happened, we come out and the robot dies. So we lose that match. So you can imagine, I won't say like it's deflating, but you hear, it's kind of good, right? Some of these kids get the big head, like, we got this. Yeah, we're going to win. And then all of a sudden you get a defeat and you're like, oh, we lose another one. Like, the whole year's over. Everything we did, we set world high score, and then you're out. So they came back second match. They got a strong win. So this is it. If you break down again, you're done. So just to kind of always give context to kind of a lot of what's going on there. And then, so when the match starts here, the first 20 seconds. So right now the robots are completely moving on their own. So when you talk about AI and everything, there's no human intervention right now. This is the robot doing everything. All these guys by themselves.
Programmed. To,
Yeah.
Okay. So they're programmed to pick up, get to a certain spot, and spit out these balls, right?
Yeah. And this is like when you talk about the work that kind of goes into it. I mean, this is not something they came up with overnight. Like that move right there, how they're going to coordinate that with the other teams.
Wow. Look at the way that the Dally team, it just doesn't miss. It's like almost.
Yeah.
Wow.
So us and 44-14 at this point, if you look at the numbers and stuff, we're definitely the two of the best robots on the field in general. You know, so at this point, you know, the score is still close enough to where it's still in nail biter territory. So you know,
wow. But look at that. I mean, it seems like. Our team is just kind of running away with it because they're not they're pretty precise on where they're that's
and
really
this is the work. So a lot of teams get upset with how good we are, and you know I've heard that conversation numerous times where they feel like Madtown is too good, we shouldn't be competing in this arena, if you can believe it, because of that. And this year especially, because my oldest is joined the team. And being alongside with them when they're going through the process and training and how many hours of training, I can tell you that we built a good robot, but those kids have trained to do every move. Like everything that they're doing right now is because of hours of dedication to the team, and not just, you know, they want to win. You know what I mean? They want to be the best, and they understand that they have to practice.
Well, think about it this way, Rohi. I mean, it's almost like a father, son, or you leave this legacy. You don't want to be the team that breaks that legacy, right? Yeah. You're filling in some big shoes now.
You are.
Coming into this, you're already a 3-time world champion. And I mean, can we do it again? Can we, the new class of such and such, you know, be able to, you know, meet the expectations that are there for you, right? And I think that sets the tone for a lot of these young kids. And I appreciate the context, Rohi, because it does really show, like, you know, the dedication that's required for them to become world champions. And now I'm looking at us just taking the lead here. And it
this
seems
is domination.
like domination after this. It's not even close. And there it is, right? There's your team. And when you look at those boys, if you look at that, or you look at the group of boys and girls that are part of this team, it seems like, you know, hey, they're just your average kids, right? And you're not seeing a country's kids or some other. You're seeing a local kids from Madera, like you said, you and I, just wanting to get to the world championship stage, and they've done it, and that's awesome. And I appreciate that, Rohi, because I think we don't give kudos enough here in Madera. You know, we talk about maybe the negative things about Madera sometimes, the little small things about Madera that we blow up to big things, but yet these huge world stage things, we don't talk about them enough. It's just like good news doesn't really carry that far out. You know, maybe for that day, let's clap at it, but we don't build on that, and we should. And I think, you know, I like what Madera Unified's done with the We Believe. I think that mantra or that motto of We Believe can certainly take Madera to a different stage as far as, you know, education, robotics, and anything else that we put ourselves to, right? Even the city, county. I mean, we believe in Madera. That's why we do what we do, not only as public officials, but also as mentors, educators, and advisors. And in your case, Rohi, I know you've been part of this. So congratulations to you, your son, and all that hard work that you guys have put into this RC, and all those teachers and mentors that have been part of this world championship stage. So I'm very happy to hear that, and I know we'll announce it today at the city council. So these are the good news, right? We want to always share the good news. But to that, we'll go ahead and segue to, you know, just recent news that we've had. I think, you know, over the weekend, we got news of our former mayor, Santos Garcia, passing away, and I wanted to just give this time to to recognize what he's done for this community as well. Because when we talk about, setting Madera at the world stage, we also have to talk about the people that help want to give opportunity to a lot of our community. And Santos was driven by that, just making sure that those disenfranchised were also looked at, those people, those kids were always also, hey, the unheard, that you had a voice for them as well. And that's how I saw Santos. So I wanted to make sure we gave him praise to that. But any comments there? I'll bring up a picture of our esteemed mayor, former mayor, and what he represented with the family. So this was Mr. Garcia, that was also a big part of the community here, especially from 2018 to 2024.
Yeah, and I've only had a few years to work alongside him. Obviously, he was a service member with us on the Kiwanis Club, and you can tell he was somebody that definitely wanted the best for his community. I think he was looking to move Madera forward, which is something that I could always align with, because that's kind of where I want to be as well. And I think we, just like us, we could always have disagreements on how you go about that, but you could tell like the way he spoke and the things he did was still in a way that he wanted to make things better. Obviously coming in during COVID and some of the harder years of it, a nation and a world's history, didn't make that any easier. And I think during those times he handled it very well. And it is sad to have his passing, because I think he had a lot of stuff in the works that he was looking to move forward. So
yeah, and and when we talk about like the robotics and the willingness and dedication, you look back and when this guy started, right? I remember when I got elected in 2016, and I would see him constantly at our city council meetings. And the one thing that he would say is he would praise me for some of the questions that I was asking, right? Say, hey, I'm glad that you're up there and you're asking these questions. I'm glad that you're involved. And shortly after, in 2018, he decided to run for city council. Okay, bold move, right?
Yeah.
But he did it, right? And he won his city council seat. And then 2 years after, this is halfway through his term, he decided to run for mayor, right? And I said, man, that's a lot bolder than most. And sure enough, he came out with the victory and became our mayor. And I don't know if this guy knew time was of the essence.
Yeah.
People know in their lives where they're at, but he felt like, hey, I need to do something.
Yeah.
And I need to start moving our community, or at least those voices that are unheard, give them a voice, give them a platform, and I'm going to do that for them. That's the one thing that stands out about Santos, especially what I can say is that he was very, very vocal about these areas that were probably disenfranchised for some time. And he would always talk about that, always bring that here. And like you said, at a dais, there could have been, we could have agreed to disagree. And, and that's part of how we do business. That's how we do policy.
Yeah.
We're not always going to be in agreement, but you have to give him credit for everything and the efforts of what he wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your vision was a little bit out there and we weren't catching up to you. But for the most part, I knew that he wanted to bring some type of voice for those communities, especially areas that he served, that he thought needed to be heard, right? And I bring up this picture because I think it's important to showcase what he stood for. He was a family man also, and our deepest condolences go out to his family. I know that he was delivering for Madera, and that's what the message was. So I know that his kids would be proud, his grandkids, and his legacy will certainly be uplifted by that family. But not too long ago, we also had another elected official similar, Max Rodriguez, and not to take anything from Santos, but again, within 30 days, we lose two of our statesmen that have been, advocating for Madera.
Yeah, no, I think that, that's why our flags are going to be at half staff. We have recognition, even though he's a prior mayor, we still give respect to him. And I think, again, it just goes back to show you that, a lot comes out of Madera. There's still a lot to be done, and that's why we go to work tonight. And, we got to keep going because now we got to fill some bigger shoes, right? We have to go with their vision and maybe move some of those ideas forward.
And I think, it inspires us all to want to continue
Yeah.
to achieve as much as we can, because truthfully, Roy, we do know that time is limited for all of us. It's not just in this case, but I think, you know, when you're younger, you feel like, you know, hey, I have all the time
Yeah.
in the world, right? But truthfully, as we start getting up there in age, we start realizing that, hey, you know, maybe I don't have that much time. You
Yeah.
know, maybe time is very limited for us, and let's try to do as much as we can. You know, uplift our community. You know, continue to win world titles. Continue to work on our our services that we provide our residents. Partner up with our county. Partner up with our schools, and work together to try to see if we can make Madera again a greater place. And even greater than what it is and what it was. And again, from all walks of life. All of us that serve this community, I think we all want to see that. So we want to instill positive messages, right? We always want to instill, we can't help the fact that there's issues out there. We always have issues going on within our communities, right? But, we're trying to get to the majority of them in a reasonable time that can still be looked at as a positive thing, right? And I think this is kind of where we're at. So again, don't want to take away from the robotics, but I also want to recognize a trailblazer for our community, and that was Mr. Garcia. So again, our deepest condolences go to his family. Now, Rohi, any other local news that we'd like to share?
No, you know what? I think I've heard a couple of texts. Everybody's excited about the opening of Road 26. Got to experience that last night. Drove over that, and it's definitely nice.
For the last maybe year, almost 2 years, I think we've been going to the detour right off of 27.
Yeah.
And 27 seems to be just a divided. This one seems a lot wider, this overpass.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I went out on Sunday, and I knew that it was open, but for some reason, I just went straight down my detour. And up until I got there, did I realize, hey, you know what? It's open. So I got out of the parking lot, went back, and I drove over it and back around just to feel like, okay, it's finally there.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I think it was on Sunday when I left home, I went through Road 26 and it's open. So for those of you that were wondering, yes, Road 26 is open. You don't have to detour anymore. If you live in that area or you go out and play golf, then that's the road you want to take to get out there. But other than that, we do have a city council meeting tonight. For those of you that like to partake in public comment and maybe address us there, this would be the perfect opportunity to do so. A meeting starts at 6 p.m. Rohi, anything else you want to add before we cut this?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. So again, next week, we'll be looking forward to bringing another guest, maybe talk about some past issues that we've had. Rohi, would you like to touch on that?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So then
leave them wanting. They'll come.
Okay. We'll leave it for next week. We'll bring you an exciting episode. Again, thank you again. Congratulations to the Madera Madtown Robotics. We look forward to seeing them hopefully at the city council when they come by and get their recognition.